I'm Chef Amber at the Goldring Center for Culinary Medicine. Today, I'm going to tell you about the importance of sharpening your knives, show you a few different ways on how to do it, and a few different tips on how to keep them sharp. In the kitchen, the most dangerous element is a dull knife. Dull knives are more likely to resist the product you're cutting and bounce off. This is obviously a danger we try to avoid. So that's why we use sharpeners. There are many different types of sharpeners. Here we have 3. First, we have an electric sharpener, a handheld sharpener, and a flat stone. Here with the electric sharpener, there are 3 different sections, an on and off switch, and it also has those 2 different sections for each one of the slips. It's going to be coarse, medium, and fine. First, you want to take your knife and apply even pressure to go all the way through. With this type of sharpener, you don't need to apply any particular type of angle because the guide already has it. You want to make sure that however many times you do each side of the blade, it's the same. So for this, you do the number of times that you've committed to each side. I usually recommend something around 20, and then continue through all 3 from coarse, medium, then to fine. For the handheld, there's a handle, a coarse, and a fine. Similar to the electric sharpener, this already has a built-in angle, so you don't have to be too mindful of the angle you're holding. You want to hold it firmly down, and then go through the coarse, followed by fine. Again, like with the electric sharpener, you want to do the same amount for every side. Flat stones can have 1 or more sides and will be either water or oil-based. These are going to be dependent on which type of soaking the stone requires and can be soaked in oil or soaked in water. When you have it soaking, it's going to absorb into the wooden or clay bottom. To sharpen, you're going to want to make sure you're being mindful of an angle, which is dependent on the type of blade, and then make sure that as you're sharpening, you're going through the full length of the blade. In this type of sharpening, you must constantly be mindful of pressure and angle, so that way you don't have a double blade or spots in the knife that break. When you're doing this, you also have to be mindful of the number of times you're sharpening each side of the blade. There's no right or wrong way to sharpen the full length of your blade as long as you are applying the even pressure and doing both sides evenly. Every chef is going to hold their knife a little bit different and use a different technique. You could use this type of fanning motion, or you go up and down a little bit faster, as long as you're getting that edge. Other chefs will also do more of a sweeping motion and then rock it back and forth. There's another way where you go on the shorter part of your sharpening stone. Some chefs like this so that way they don't dull the same parts of their stone repetitively. With this, you still can do a straight or rocking motion. Once you're all done and you have the right amount on each side, then you need to dry off your blade by wrapping a cloth around it and pointing the blade away from your palm, gently applying pressure up the blade. There's multiple ways to test to see if it's sharp enough. Some chefs like to take a piece of parchment or paper and just cut their knife through to see if it pulls on its own. This is an effortless way to see if it's sharp. Another way is to just move your finger gently against the tip of the blade to see if it's sharp there. You'd want to check both sides of the blade to make sure you have an even sharpness. This is a honing steel or a honing rod. So these can be metal or ceramic. A lot of people think that these are to keep your knife sharp. They're supposed to keep your knife straight and then also help keep it sharper longer. With steels, we have to be mindful of the angle that we're holding them as well as the angle of the knife. And then we want to make sure that we're also doing the full length of the blade. Some chefs will use it on the table like this, and others will go up and down depending. You can also move the steel itself if you're more comfortable, and then eventually you can go a lot quicker with it. Using a steel is a great way to keep your blade lasting longer in between sharpening. I hope this video answered your questions regarding ways to sharpen your knives, how to keep them sharper longer, and how to use a honing steel. For more videos regarding knives and how to cut different products, check out our website.